Hello everyone. So in the last class we have studied about precision, accuracy and significant figures. Now let us consider the chemical combination of laws. Chemical combination, the laws of chemical combination. The laws of chemical combination. A compound is formed by the combination of elements according to some laws. So those laws are known as the laws of chemical combination. The important laws are the law of conservation of mass, the law of conservation of mass, the law of definite proportion, the law of multiple proportion, the Gay-Lussac's law of volumes and Avogadro's law. So these are the important laws which explains the formation of compounds. The first law is the law of conservation of mass. What is the statement of the law of conservation of mass? So before going to that, this law was proposed by Lavoisier. So this law was proposed by Lavoisier. The statement of this law is matter can neither be created nor be destroyed during the chemical reaction. Means there is no loss or gain of a mass during the chemical reaction. However, they may change into some physical change. The total mass during the chemical reaction remains same. So that is known as the law of conservation of mass. Means the total mass of the reactants, is equal to the total mass of the products in a chemical reaction. The second law of chemical combination is the law of definite proportion. Law of definite proportion. So this law was proposed by Proust. This law was proposed by Proust. What is the statement of the law of definite proportion? The given compound always contains exactly the same proportion of elements in fixed ratio by mass. The given compound always contains exactly the same proportion of elements in a fixed ratio of mass. So this can be explained with the help of the formation of carbon dioxide from different methods. So that is this carbon dioxide CO2. This is a compound. It is formed by the combination of carbon and oxygen. This can be prepared by three different methods. The first method is by burning charcoal in air or by burning coke in air. So that is, coke means carbon that burns with oxygen and forms carbon dioxide. That forms carbon dioxide. The second method is by the decomposition of calcium carbonate. By the decomposition of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate on heating decomposes to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. It also gives carbon dioxide. So next, the third method, that is by the action of dilute HCl. By the action of dilute HCl on sodium carbonate. When sodium carbonate is treated with hydrochloric acid, so it gives sodium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. So when sodium carbonate is treated with dilute HCl, it gives sodium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. Now balance the equation. So here Na2 is present. So therefore I will write here 2. Then this becomes 2HCl. Then hydrogens are balanced. Then what about oxygen? On LHS there are 3 hydrogen atoms. So hagadre on RHS how many there are 3 oxygen atoms on LHS. Then on RHS also there are 3 oxygen atoms. Now it is a well balanced equation. Now the question is, what is the composition of carbon dioxide? Means what is the ratio of carbon to oxygen? So this carbon dioxide is obtained from 3 different methods. So is it has a definite proportion or different proportion? So what is the ratio of the masses of carbon to oxygen in the formation of carbon dioxide is CO2. So this carbon, its atomic mass is 12 and the atomic mass of oxygen is 16, but there are 2 atoms are involved in the formation of carbon dioxide. So therefore the ratio of the masses of carbon and oxygen are in the ratio 12:32. On simplifying, this becomes 3:8. So therefore, in the formation of carbon dioxide, the masses of carbon and oxygen are in the ratio 12:32 or in the ratio 3:8. So in all these compound means carbon dioxide, the carbon and oxygens are combined in the ratio of 3:8. So therefore, so I will repeat once again, what is the statement of the law of definite proportion? The given compound here, the given compound is carbon dioxide, always contains exactly the same proportion of elements. The same proportion of elements are combined in a fixed ratio of mass. They are in the ratio 3:8. So this is about the law of definite proportion. The law of definite proportion. The law of multiple proportion. The law of multiple proportion. This was proposed by John Dalton. John Dalton. Then what's the statement of the law of multiple proportion? If two elements combine to form more than one compound, the masses of one element combines with a fixed mass of another element are in the simple whole number ratio. If two elements combine to form more than one compound, the masses of one element that combines with a fixed mass of another element are in the simple whole number ratio. So this can be explained with the example, that is carbon and oxygen. The two different elements, they are carbon and oxygen. These two elements combine to form two different types of compounds. They are carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Carbon and oxygen combine to form two different compounds. They are carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. So in carbon monoxide, the ratio of masses of carbon and oxygen are in the ratio, the atomic mass of carbon is 12, then the atomic mass of oxygen is 16. So therefore, the masses of carbon and oxygen are in the ratio 12:16. Next, one more compound formed by the combination of carbon and oxygen are carbon dioxide. The ratio of masses of carbon and oxygen are in the ratio, that is 12:32. That is, carbon's atomic mass is 12, then oxygen, how much of oxygen combined with 12 grams of carbon, that is 32 grams. Then take the ratio of the different masses of oxygen. In carbon monoxide, 16 grams of oxygen is present. In carbon dioxide, 32 grams of oxygen is present. So therefore, the ratio of oxygen in both the compounds is 16:32 or 1:2. They are in the ratio 1:2. So therefore, in this case, the two different elements, they are carbon and oxygen combined to form two compounds. They are carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. The different masses of oxygen combines with a fixed mass of carbon, that is 12 grams of carbon. Then take the ratios of the oxygen in both the compounds. So in carbon monoxide, the ratio of the mass of oxygen is 16, the mass of oxygen in carbon dioxide is, that is 32. So therefore, they are in the simple ratio 1:2. So therefore, the masses of oxygen are in the ratio 1:2. It's a simple whole number ratio. So this is about the law of multiple proportion. the Gay-Lussac's law of volumes. So when gaseous reactant combine to form a gaseous product. When gaseous reactants combine to form a gaseous product, then the volumes of the reactants bear a simple whole number ratio with one another and also with the volumes of the products measured under the conditions of same temperature and pressure. So, this law is applicable to gases. Now, let us consider the example of the formation of hydrogen chloride. H2 plus Cl2 gives rise to HCl. So, this is in gaseous state. Chlorine is also in gaseous state and hydrogen chloride is also in gaseous state. Hydrogen combines with chlorine and forms hydrogen chloride. Now take the ratios of volumes of the individual reactants and products. That is, 1 volume of hydrogen combines with 1 volume of chlorine, then it forms 2 volumes of hydrogen chloride. Now take the ratios volumes of the reactants or products. They are in the ratio 1:1:2. So therefore they bear a simple whole number ratio to one another. So this is about the Gay-Lussac's law of volumes. When the gaseous reactants combine to form the gaseous products. The volumes of the reactants bear a simple whole number ratio, that is 1:1, and also with the volume of the product, that is 2. So these gases are measured at the same conditions of temperatures and pressure. Same temperature and pressure. So that they are in the ratio 1:1:2. So this is about Gay-Lussac's law of volumes. So therefore, the first law, the law of conservation of mass, that states that matter can neither be created nor be destroyed. The second law, that is the law of definite proportion, it is also known as the law of constant composition. So this states that the given compound always contains exactly the same proportion of elements by fixed mass. Then the third law is the law of multiple proportion. The law of multiple proportion, that is when two elements combine to form two or more compounds, the different masses of one element that combines with a fixed mass of another element are in the simple whole number ratio. Next one is the Gay-Lussac's law of volume. So this states that when the gaseous reactants combine to form the gaseous products, the volumes of the gaseous reactants bear a simple whole number ratio to the volume of the products if they are measured at the same temperature and pressure. The next law is the Avogadro's law. Avogadro's law. So this states that equal volumes of all gases under the same conditions of temperature and pressure contain equal number of molecules. Which means that, so for example, 500 cm cube of carbon dioxide and 500 cm cube of oxygen gas. So these two gases contain the equal number of molecules. Under same conditions of temperature and pressure. Similarly, the 200 cm cube of sulfur dioxide that contains same number of molecules as that of nitrogen if the volume is 200 cm cube. So therefore, the equal volumes of all gases under the conditions of temperature and pressure contain equal number of molecules. The next one is the postulates of Dalton's law. Postulates of Dalton's law. The first postulate of Dalton's law tells us that the whole matter consists of the minute particles. They are known as atoms. So this word is derived from the Greek word atomio. In Greek, atomio means indivisible. So therefore, this matter consists of indivisible atoms. That is the first postulate of Dalton's theory. So matter consists of indivisible particles. They are atoms. The second one is the atoms of the given element. Always contains the atoms of the given element have the identical properties and identical masses. The atoms of the different elements differ in their masses and properties. For example, the hydrogen, the properties of the atoms of the hydrogen gases are same. The different atoms of hydrogen have same properties and also they have same masses. So therefore, the atoms of the given element are sodium. So, this consists of sodium atoms. All sodium atoms, they have the same properties and same masses, but the mass of hydrogen is different from the mass of sodium atom. Then the properties are also different. A compound is formed by the combination of atoms of different element. A compound is formed by the combination of the atoms of different elements in a fixed ratio by mass. So, a compound is formed by the combination of different atoms of the elements in a fixed ratio by mass. So, for example, water, this is a compound. So, this compound is formed. This compound is formed by the combination of hydrogen and oxygen. That is, two atoms of hydrogens combined with one atom of oxygen. Then what is the ratio of masses of hydrogen and oxygen? They are in the ratio 2:16 or 1:8. So therefore, the two elements, that is the atoms of the hydrogen and oxygen, they are combined in the ratio of mass, that is 1:8. The next postulate is these atoms can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. Just this chemical reaction involves the reorganization of the atoms. So, in a chemical reaction, atoms can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. But this chemical reaction involves the reorganization of the atoms. So, on the chemical reactions only atoms loss agolla, gain agodilla. So, just yen aagta ide anta helidre reorganization of the atoms. So, for example, the reaction between HCl and NaOH. So, in this, these two react with each other, then they form NaCl and water. During this reaction, so in HCl, so this H is replaced by Na. Then in NaOH, so this OH is replaced by Cl. So therefore, during the chemical reaction, the reorganization of the atoms takes place. There is no loss or gain of atoms during the chemical reactions. So, these are the important postulates of Dalton's theory. The first one is the matter consists of indivisible particles. They are known as atoms. Then the second postulate is the atoms of the given element have the same or the identical properties and identical mass. The atoms of the different elements, differ in their properties and masses. The third one is a compound or a compounds are formed by the combination of two or more atoms in the fixed ratio by mass. In the fixed ratio by mass. The next one is these atoms neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. So, but in a chemical reaction, reorganization of the atoms takes place. The next one is what is meant by atomic mass? What is meant by atomic mass? Atomic mass. So, it is the atomic mass is the ratio of atomic mass is equal to the ratio of the mass of an atom to the 1/12 the mass of 1/12 the mass of an atom of carbon 12 isotope. Carbon 12 isotope. So, atomic mass is the ratio of mass of an atom to the 1/12 the mass of an atom of carbon 12 isotope. Then what is meant by isotope? So, hagadre isotope andre ಏನು? The atoms of the same element having the same atomic number but different mass number. So, atoms of the same element having same atomic number but different mass number are called isotopes. Example for isotopes. So, 1H1, then 1H2, then 1H3. So, this 1 denotes the atomic number. So, 1, 2, 3 are the mass numbers. So, these are the different isotopes of hydrogen. These are the different isotopes of hydrogen. They are hydrogen, deuterium and tritium. So, these three isotopes are having the same atomic number but different mass numbers. So, this carbon also exists in different isotopic forms. They are C12, C13 and C14. C12, C13 and C14. Its atomic number is 6. So, these are the different isotopes of carbon. But among these three isotopes, C12 is considered as the standard isotope. So, this is taken as the standard. C12 isotope is taken as the standard while defining atomic mass. So, therefore, atomic mass is the ratio of mass of an atom to the 1/12 the mass of an atom of carbon 12 isotope. Carbon 12 isotope. If the atomic mass is expressed in terms of grams, then it is known as gram atomic mass. Then it is known as gram atomic mass. So, for example, 1 is the atomic mass of hydrogen. The exact atomic mass of hydrogen is 1.00 8. If it is expressed in terms of grams, then it is known as gram atomic mass. Then it is known as gram atomic mass. So 12 is the atomic mass of carbon. Then 12 grams is known as the gram atomic mass of carbon. So this atomic mass is not a whole number, it's a fraction, because it depends on, the number of different isotopes of an element and their relative abundance. Means ಈ ಐಸೋಟೋಪ್ಸು ನೇಚರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದೇ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಫೋರ್ ದ ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಮಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಫ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಫೋರ್, ಸೊ what is meant by AMU, atomic mass unit? So previously the atomic mass of an element is expressed in terms of AMU, means atomic mass unit is expressed in terms of atomic mass unit. Now this atomic mass is replaced by unified mass. It is denoted by the letter U. So this is now replaced by the word that is unified mass. Unified atomic mass, it is denoted by the letter U. Then what is the definition of atomic mass unit? So it is defined as, the definition of atomic mass unit. Atomic mass unit. It is defined as 1/12 the mass of an atom of carbon 12 isotope. 1/12 the mass of an atom of carbon 12 isotope. So therefore 1 AMU is equal to 1.66056 into 10 power minus 24 grams, the value of 1 atomic mass unit. So this is equal to 1.66056 into 10 power minus 24 grams. The average atomic mass of an element, which depends on the different isotopes of the element and their abundances in the nature. Therefore, this is mathematically calculated by this equation. So average atomic mass in case of an element having two isotopes, that is average atomic mass is equal to atomic mass of first isotope multiplied by its abundance plus atomic mass of mass of second isotope multiplied by its percentage abundance, abundance divided by 100. Now let us consider one example in order to know the calculation of average atomic mass of an element. So chlorine has two isotopes 35 and 37. Chlorine has two isotopes, they are Cl35 and Cl37. Their percentage abundance is 75% and 25%. This chlorine has two isotopes, they are Cl35 and Cl37. Their percentage abundance is 75% and 25%. Now calculate what is the average atomic mass of chlorine. Calculate the average atomic mass of chlorine. Calculate the average atomic mass of chlorine. So average atomic mass is equal to the atomic mass of first isotope. The first isotope is chlorine 35. Its atomic mass is 35 and its relative abundance is 75. So therefore it is multiplied by its abundance plus the second isotope of chlorine, that is 37. Then its abundance is 25. Then divided by the sum of the percentage composition, that is 75 plus 25, this is equal to 100. On simplification you will get this is equal to 35.5. So 30.5 is the average atomic mass of chlorine. This is the average atomic mass of chlorine. So therefore, what is the formula is used to calculate the average atomic mass? Means atomic mass of the isotope and it is multiplied by its percentage abundance. If two isotopes are present for an element, then we have to add the second isotope's atomic mass, then it is multiplied by its abundance. This is whole divided by 100. That is total percentage abundance of the two isotopes, that is equal to 100. So one more example, this magnesium. The magnesium has three isotopes, they are Mg24 and Mg25. Magnesium has Mg24, Mg25 and Mg26. Their relative abundances are 79%. So Mg24 is available in 79%, Mg25 is available in 10%, Mg26 is available in 11%. Then average atomic mass of magnesium is equal to the atomic mass of the first isotope, that is equal to 24. Then its abundance, that is 79, plus the atomic mass of the second isotope is 25 and its abundance is 10. Then plus the atomic mass of the third isotope is 26, then it is multiplied by 11, that is its percentage abundance. So this is divided by 79 plus 10 plus 11. So 9 plus 1, this is equal to 10. 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3. So 3 plus 7, that is equal to 100. So these two are multiplied and this is also multiplied and this is also multiplied. Then these three are added. Then it is divided by 100. Then you will get the average atomic mass as 24.5. So this is very important. They may ask in the examination to calculate the average atomic masses of the elements. So therefore, in this way we can calculate the atomic masses of the average atomic masses of the elements. Next one is, what is molecular mass? So molecular mass is the ratio of molecular mass is the ratio of the mass of a molecule, to the 1/12 mass of an atom of carbon-12 isotope. So molecular mass is the ratio of mass of a molecule to the 1/12 mass of an atom of carbon-12 isotope. If the molecular mass of a molecule is expressed in grams, then it is known as gram molecular mass. Then it is known as gram molecular mass. So for example, water is a molecule which is formed by the combination of 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen atoms. What is the molecular mass of water? So molecular mass of water is calculated like this. Just take the sum of the atomic masses of different atoms present in a molecule. Number of hydrogen atoms, that is 2. So then the atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. Plus the one more atom present is oxygen. How many atoms are present? 1 atom. Then what is the atomic mass of oxygen? That is equal to 16. Now 2 into 1, 2 plus 1 into 16. So this is equal to 16. 2 plus 16 is equal to 18. Then 18 is the molecular mass of water. 18 grams. This is the gram molecular mass of water. Gram molecular mass of water. So CO2. Similarly, we can calculate the molecular mass of carbon dioxide. Take the sum of the atomic masses of the different atoms present in this molecule. There is 1 carbon atom. Then it is multiplied by its atomic mass. If the atomic mass is expressed in unified mass, then I will write this as 12U, 12 unified mass plus, how many oxygen atoms are present? 2. Then what's the atomic mass of oxygen? That is 16 unified mass. Then 1 into 12, that is equal to 12 unified mass. 2 into 16, that is 32 unified mass. This total sum is equal to 44 unified mass. 44 unified mass. This is the molecular mass of carbon dioxide. Then if it is expressed in terms of grams, then it is known as 44 grams. Then it is known as gram molecular mass. Then it is known as gram molecular mass. So this is about the molecular mass. The molecular mass is the ratio of the mass of a molecule to the 1/12 the mass of an atom of carbon 12 isotope. Carbon 12 isotope. If the molecular mass is expressed in terms of grams, then it is known as gram molecular mass. Then it is known as gram molecular mass. Similarly, we can calculate. So what are the molecular masses of acetic acid? Acetic acid, glucose, CH3COOH. Its name is acetic acid. Acetic acid. Then C6H12O6. C6H12O6. This is glucose. This is glucose. First calculate the molecular mass of acetic acid. So how many carbon atoms are present in this molecule? There are 2 carbon atoms. Therefore, I will write here 2. Then what is the atomic mass of carbon? That is 12 unified mass plus, how many hydrogen atoms are present? 4. 4 hydrogen atoms are present. Then it is multiplied by its atomic mass, that is 1 unified mass plus, how many oxygen atoms are present? 2. Then it is multiplied by 16U. 16U is its atomic mass. Then 24, 12 2s are 24 plus 4 into 1, this is 4 unified mass plus 16 2s are 32U. 32U. So then the sum is equal to, 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 4, 10. Then 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 1, 60. 60 unified mass is the molecular mass of acetic acid. So in case of glucose, C6H12O6. So how many carbon atoms are present? There are 6 carbon atoms. What is the atomic mass of carbon? So that is 12 unified mass plus, how many hydrogen atoms are present? 12 hydrogen atoms multiplied by, and it is multiplied by its atomic mass, that is 1 unified mass plus 6 into number of oxygen atoms, that is 6 into its atomic mass, that is 16 unified mass. So 12 6 are 72 plus 12 into 1, that is equal to 12 plus 16 6 are 96. Then the sum is equal to 180 unified mass. 6 plus 2, 8, 8 plus 2, 10, 9 plus 1, 10, 10 plus 7, 17, 17 plus 1 carry, that is equal to 180. 180 unified mass is the molecular mass of glucose. Similarly, we can calculate any molecule's molecular mass. So, this is about the molecular mass. So, what is atomic mass and what is molecular mass?